fresh out the oven.
What is cracking, everybody? What is cracking, everybody? It's MegapiemanPHD here, and welcome to another look at my map video. This time for Capture the Flag Kelly Beta 4. This is the version that is the last version being made before it has to be submitted to the TF2 Maps Pick It Up contest, which is what I made this map for. And the contest is focused on layout, so even though it's not fully detailed, that should be fine. Though, if you're looking at it, you will see some nice fancy details, such as the big spinning globe in the middle, which is made by a person who goes by the moniker Zeus3005. I've been talking with Zeus. They wanted to do some modeling practice, and they picked up a couple of things off of requests I put on TF2 Maps over the years. I don't know why they were specifically doing my requests, but they checked around doing some modeling stuff, and they saw the videos that I've been posting, these devlog videos, that I was thinking about making the middle thing in the map a bronze globe statue, and then they made that, and they made it spin. And I've been talking with them back and forth a little bit, and we got the thing looking pretty freaking cool. So there you go. There's a nice, dynamic, spinning globe right smack dab in the middle of Ned Kelly Plaza on CTF Kelly Beta 4. I think it turned out pretty freaking awesome, just to say. Zeus did a pretty awesome job, but that's detail-oriented. There are a lot of detail-oriented things for this map. You see, I went to detailing when I got to beta, and I pushed this map into beta because I wasn't getting much layout feedback. And then, of course, as soon as I push it into beta, I get layout feedback all over the place. It's like, well, great, now I gotta try and incorporate that layout feedback with all the detail stuff that I did, which, you know, it's fine. I don't mind getting rid of stuff that I've already did. It's just, it takes a lot longer to try to change the layout once you go into making it look fancy than it does before you start doing that. So, yeah. Lovely. As I said before, this map's theme is supposed to be something like the retrofuturistic Team Fortress version of Australia. There's only 2 images from the Team Fortress 2 comics that I can base that off of, so I'm doing what I can to try and fit that. I think I'm doing a decent job, but I'm not entirely sure. Some people seem to like it. Others seem to question exactly what I'm trying to do. This theme doesn't exist, so I'm trying to make it out of assets that exist by putting different things together, like moon-based assets, some of the stuff from Mercenary Park, and just a whole bunch of things that are kind of going together, and hopefully it's working and not turning out to be just a big old mess. But, yeah, this vehicle over here is a new thing that was added to try to help get across that retrofuturistic vibe. This vehicle is called the Dodge Galore. It is made by somebody called Biss, I think. They released a pack of retrofuturistic vehicles on the Source Filmmaker and Gary's Mod workshops, Steam workshops. This vehicle itself, I first saw it in the Gmod animation Heavy is Dead. So if you've seen that animation, then this vehicle is in that. It is the vehicle that the scout gets into, and then it blows up. I was able to convince them to make a version that I could put in the map, because I thought it would be interesting and fit the retrofuturistic vibe that I was going for. And you can see it off the side here, and off the side over here by this picnicky area. Just to try to... I wanted to have vehicles in here, but I didn't really want... I wasn't quite sure... Trying to figure out how the Team Fortress 2's retrofuturistic Australia has been a bit of a pain, because it's not like flying car futuristic, but it is like curvy futuristic. It's difficult to place it, because there's not a lot of like concept work to work off of, because it only shows up at 2 images in the comics. So I'm trying to make it curvy with all the buildings. You have curves all over the place. This building specifically, building back there, building over here, you got curves, and I got curved walls inside the bases, like over here, and so on and so forth. But you still have wheeled vehicles, so it's not like flying cars, but it's... I don't know. I hope I'm getting across what I'm trying to do here. Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm trying. I am trying. Anyway, there's a little bit of layout differences in this version of the map. I got some feedback from, I think it was a person called Wilson, who was telling me that the mid area didn't really feel like a clash of the two teams that you get a lot in CTF maps. It just felt kind of chaotic where people were all over the place. Now, part of that is purposeful. When you think about capture the flag maps that are in Team Fortress 2, and you're thinking of Two Fort, you're thinking of Double Cross, you're thinking of Turbine, you're thinking of Landfall. There's only 4 of them to go off of that are official maps, I believe, not including Manpower maps. I don't count those. Those are their own thing, even though they use the CTF moniker. All of them pretty much have somewhat narrow midsections that cause the teams to have to clash into each other. But the problem with that is, like, take a map like Double Cross. In a map like Double Cross, a lot of the fighting is on the bridge in the middle of the map. But the problem with that is that first a team has to win that clash in the middle of the map, then win the fight into the enemy base to be able to get the flag, and then win the fight out of the enemy base, and because of that, flags don't get captured all that often. Two Fort has a similar-ish problem, even though it's got a bunch of other issues as well. Basically, the fact that you could put one level 3 sentry gun at one spot in the map and completely lock the thing down, but it's still based around that clash where you gotta win mid, and then you gotta win to the base, and then you gotta win to the flag, get the flag, and win your way out. And the more steps you put in between capturing the flag to get a point, the less that capturing the flag is going to happen. And that's not what I want. Even Turbine, with its bigger open basically death box for the middle of that map, still has that problem because there's not a whole lot of cover in there. You still gotta push through it and get through all these other sections. Landfall is my favorite capture the flag map that's official, that's in the game, even though it's not made by Valve. It was made by Dr. Spud, I believe, or Spud Lord. There are 2 users on TF2 maps with Spud in their name. There's Spud Lord and Dr. Spud. And I can't ever remember which one made Landfall. I believe it was Dr. Spud. The image that they have for their account is from Dark Souls or something. I don't entirely remember. Anyway, regardless, the way that Landfall is built has the midsection where you have a big tree in the middle. It doesn't quite have that clash. And in my opinion, that helps the map when it comes to flags getting captured. And that's kind of what I wanted to go for here with Kelly. But I do want to find a nice mid-ground between the clash between the two teams and just flat-out chaos. So I tried to bring the midsection in a little bit more by moving this original exit that previously it went out flat this way, went over here, went down, and then went around over here. I pushed all of this indoor section a bit closer to mid. I turned the exit that used to be here to over there, lowered it down a little bit, so now you have the stairwell in here that goes down, and then you go down like that, which will hopefully help bring teams together more. So you have that sort of team versus team clash, or at least more of something like that team versus team clash, opposed to just flat out chaos. There's people all over the place. Who knows what's going on? I like chaos, personally. I like the chaotic map design in Team Fortress 2. I find that to be kind of fun, but there are a lot of people out there who don't. They prefer something that's more organized, that they can play over and over and over again with the same kind of strategies. So trying to get a nice mix between the two, find a mid ground between chaos and organized is a bit difficult, I have found, with Capture the Flag, especially since people just don't like Capture the Flag. Nothing will make you realize how much people dislike Capture the Flag than making a Capture the Flag map. And if it wasn't for this contest being based around having to pick up stuff in a map as part of the game mode, and Capture the Flag being the easiest, or at least the most straightforward when it comes to that kind of a game mode for picking up the flag and then depositing it to score a point, I wouldn't be making a Capture the Flag map really at all at this point. I'm not a big fan of Capture the Flag in Team Fortress 2 either, so it's difficult to try to get past the stigma of the game type to actually get into playing the game. But I've been working on it. And hopefully Kelly does well enough in the judging round to make it on to at least the semifinals would be nice. When it comes to contests that I've been entering recently with maps, I've been usually making it around the semifinal or at least the round 2. So if Kelly can make it to round 2, that would be nice. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes. I've also widened some of the doorways in this map. I widened this doorway here. I believe this doorway over here is not only it's turned, but it's also been widened up. What else did I change? I changed this doorway over here on both sides to be a bit of a wider doorway instead of this prop doorway, to try to make it a bit easier to get around. Some people were saying that the map felt like it had too many close-knit hallways and small doorways, so trying to open up doorways and that to make it less of a pain to get through. Also, I don't know if you can hear it, but I added some sound effects to the flowing water. Changed the water to well. Previously, it used the water from Powerhouse. I don't remember which version I changed it to use the water from well. Just looking at this image is making me very, very thirsty. I'm just going to say that right now. Just talking a bunch and looking at the water right here. But I'm using the water from well now, and I also upscaled it a lot so that it looks really nice. And I think the water feature turned out well, especially with the lights underneath it to give some lighting that makes sense. A water feature that somewhat makes sense, even though for some reason I can't quite hear the water flowing sound effect. It is in there. Some people were saying that they were a little too hypnotized by the flowing water, so I tried to change or increase the texture size of that as well to make it less hypnotizing. Whether or not that worked is up for debate, but that is at least the hope. I'm pretty happy with the map so far. There are some things that I worry about, mainly with the problem that I did add a timer to it. If I turn the HUD back on, and then we go to a class here, we'll do MP, we're waiting for players, cancel 1. I did turn the setup, I took it from 10 seconds to 5 seconds, then end fire round timer. Pause. There we go. I figured out how to do that as well. Previously, I didn't know how to do that. But now we can pause the timer, and the timer's still going, and I can talk about things. But since there is a timer on there, there is the problem that one team captures the flag and then just sits on it. So they get 1 point, and they sit on it till the time runs out. I don't really know what to do about that, and the only way that I can think to combat that is to try to make it easier to capture the flag, or at least to get into the base to get the flag. So if one team's just going to defend all round, they're going to have a lot of teamwork in order to do that. It's going to be difficult to just flat out defend, and that is it. And I think with the design of the map, I have been successful with that. Maybe. I don't know. It depends, of course, upon who's playing, the skill level of the players in the map, how many engineers you have on a team, how many X other class you have on the team, and so on and so forth. But I'm hoping that I was able to get that to work the way that I wanted it to. I did have to change up a little bit of the detailing. I added these pipes over here to this ramp by the stairs. I didn't really know what to do with this. It didn't look right to have the stairs go all the way across the hallway, because that's a really long step. But previously I had just like a normal ramp there without anything fancy on it, and it just felt kind of like, what is this? Someone actually left comments saying, what is this? It looks ugly. So I put these pipes in there with the glass on it, and I think it makes it a bit more interesting so that it makes a bit more sense. And I was able to get all of these curves to actually have correct lighting by changing the light map scale to 4. If you lower the light map scale for curved displacements or curved brushes like this, to the point that, well, I think 4 is the lowest you can get it. I just put them all on 4, and it seems to work. If you up the light scale to like 6 or 8, shadows get really weird with these things. So there's a tip for you. If you're working with a map with curves, lower the light map scale, and they should light correctly What else did I have issues with? Oh, I was having an issue with flags in this map. Previously, the flag, if you dropped it in this area on the opposite side, so if you were red team, you grabbed the flag, you came over here, and you dropped it, I think. No, actually, it's the other way around. If you were on blue team, grab the red flag, came over here, and then you died or dropped it in this room, you couldn't pick it up again. And the reason for that is because when the timer reaches 0, if the teams are tied, we go into a tiebreaker round that is custom logic I've designed. And in the tiebreaker round, this room becomes the spawn room. And this room has a respawn room entity in it, so you can change class without dying. It doesn't have a resupply cabinet in it, because of how forward it is, just to try to make it. And then the flags move forward as well. If you've ever seen this map before, in the tiebreaker, the flags move to here, and equivalent that spot on the other side. The rest of the base gets shut off, and the spawn room becomes this to try to make it easier for somebody to cap, and the next capture wins for the tiebreaker. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yes. I had a respawn room entity in here so you could change class without dying. And the problem with that was, even though I had it disabled so you couldn't change class without dying when the tiebreaker round wasn't going, it was still acting as a spawn room, and you cannot pick up flags in a spawn area. Like, as soon as you walk into a respawn room or an area of a map tagged to be a respawn room, it drops the flag and you can't pick it up if you're in it. So because you were in a respawn room here, it was deactivated. It wouldn't let you... it was deactivated so you could get in there with the flag, but you couldn't pick it up again. So literally all I did was parent that trigger that said this is a respawn room to a door. And I have the door opened right now, so the trigger, it's an invisible trigger. You can't see it in the map, but it's right now in the ceiling above this room. And then when the tiebreaker round starts, the door shuts and they move down so that this becomes the respawn room. And that seems to work, so you can actually pick up the flag and drop the flag in the entire map like you're supposed to. So, yeah, that was a pain to try and figure out, but I was able to finally get it to work, and I am fairly happy with how that turned out. I also changed this to a smaller grate. I believe this is a resized version of the gate from Manhattan. The resized version is from the airport pack by MaccyF on tfgmaps.net. Excuse me. The original grate that I had there, a gate-looking thing, people were looking at it and thinking that it looked like a doorway. Like it was supposed to open so you could walk through it, like a respawn door or just something like that. And that's not what it's supposed to be. That area back there is off limits. It's out of bounds. It's there for detail purposes. So I put this prop there instead of the brush grate I had before, and I leaned an arrow up next to it. An arrow billboard up next to it, so if you go this way and you look at it, the arrow's pointing you to go that way for where the intelligence is. So far, that seems to have worked in alleviating people thinking that this is a door that opens, because it's not. Also, did I talk about that these robots... Oh, there's one. He's going to animate. There you go, little fella. Nice. Yeah, the robots animate. Aren't they cute? They're adorable. Go back to sleep, little buddy. There you go. Nice. Anyway, I think that's pretty much everything. I moved these props back into here just to make it easier to walk around in this area so it's less confined. But I think that is pretty much everything. I'm going to show the tiebreaker round here quick. So we'll do int fire round timer set time 5. And then end fire round timer resume. 3, 2, 1, and tiebreaker round. As you can see, this is now the spawn room. You can't go out that way. This is these doors shut so you can get in and out of your spawn. You can't go out that way. You can't go in here. You can't go in there. You can still go in here because that leads back up to the spawn room. Shouldn't be able to spawn camp it because of just how wide these doorways are. They lead to very distinct areas. And the flag has been moved to there, and you have a two-minute timer, and I dropped the timer from 10 seconds to 5 seconds. The reason why the timer is on the tiebreaker round is so that somebody playing Scout can't get to the flag, grab it, and go and cap it, like, immediately. So you got a couple of seconds there to actually leave your base to get to the flag before anybody can do anything. But next capture wins, so if I were to go grab that flag and capture it, I would win, blue team would win, and then the next round would start. If the tiebreaker round reaches 0, right now it's at 2 minutes, or right now it's at a minute. If that reaches 0, then it goes to a full-on stalemate, and it's a tie, and nobody wins. Everybody's a loser. So the tiebreaker round will hopefully is designed to try and make it so that there's less flat-out, that's a problem, less flat-out stalemates happening in general. I've also changed it so that, well, actually, let me grab this first before I talk about the next bit. There we go. We got victory. We win. We've won the tiebreaker round. Congratulations, blue team. I'm the only one on blue team, so I can only congratulate myself. Great. Anyway, for the normal round, there we go. We got a normal round finally. So in a normal round, you have about 7 minutes for normal playtime. And if you capture the flag, it will add 70 seconds back to the clock. It will not go over 7 minutes, though. If you capture the flag, for the first 2 captures, you will get time added, but the third capture... Oh, you can actually hear it this time, maybe. Can you hear that? Can you hear that water? There's a water sound effect playing there. If you can't hear it, just pretend in your mind. But if I go over here, if I grab the flag and I take it back to my base, we'll get time. But it doesn't do it for the third capture. So previously versions of the map, you would get time is added, first capture, time is added, second capture, time is added, third capture, but there's no reason for time to be added on the third capture because 3 caps and your team wins. But I've been able to do some logic workaround nonsense to make it so that that doesn't happen. And that, I think, 22 minutes in a video talking about the beta 4 version of this map, that is it. That is pretty much everything that I've changed up and worked on for the 4th version of this map. If you like this map, or have any interest in checking out any of the other maps for the Pick It Up contest, follow the link in the description of the video below. In the description of the video below, yeah. In the description below the video, and you will find a link to tf2maps.net. You will find a link to the voting thread for that. Check out the maps, check out the maps, look at them, play them if you really can. Try and play them. Really try to play them. Don't vote for them if you haven't played them. But if you do get a chance to play them and want to vote for some of them, vote. And you can vote for Kelly if you like it. If you don't like it, you can give it a no. If you like it, you can give it a yes. If you're indifferent, you give it an indifferent vote. So check that out. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Let me know what you think about in the thread on TF2 Maps for this map. I've been MegapieMan, and I will talk to you guys later. I am very thirsty right now. Freaking water making me thirsty. Delicious.